in sixth grade, when I was going to go on a, like, take off, I was going somewhere and I needed to find another teacher to come in. So I told them, I said, I'm going to invite people into the classroom who want to teach, and I'm going to have them come in. And I'm just going to say, you could teach them whatever you want. And they're going to teach you guys, and then I want your feedback after they leave. So they were, anyway, so one time I invited this man who said he loves nature, he works with kids, he wants to take the kids out on nature. And so we went out on a nature hike. We're on this nature hike, and one of the boys, who's fourth grade or something, he says, and I knew he loved birds. He loved birds. He was fascinated by birds. And so I thought, this is perfect. We're on this nature walk and there's birds. And he says, Irene, I hear a so-and-so something owl. And I've heard him before, but I've never seen him. Can I go see him? And I said, ask the teacher, ask this guy. And so he went and asked him. And the teacher said, no. We're going over to this place over here, and we're going to do these nature games. And you're going to love these nature games. And so he comes back to me and he says, you told me I can't go. And so I said, and I could see how much he wanted to see this bird. And I was just like, I got a feeling he's not going to miss you. I want you just to go see the bird and then come right back. And I'll just pretend that I told you. I'll just see what happens. We'll just see what happens. And so then, so he took off, and he saw the owl. He came back, and he wasn't missed by the teacher, which is interesting. And so afterwards, when I had the kids tell me give me their feedback, they said, okay, he knows the games. He didn't really hear us when we said we already played these games before. And they said, I just said, what did you think? And they said, no. I go, everybody know, or some people know? And there were some people, yes. And so I was like, what was he missing? And they said, he couldn't hear us. He couldn't hear us. He couldn't hear what we were asking. And I thought, oh, yeah. And that caused me to, put me in a place where I realized how much of a dialogue our day is in Education for Life. How they have this right to speak and we respond, where we're not just telling them what to do, which leads me to another story.
Okay.
And it was this. Oh, I know. It was my husband, Dennis. He would come in and teach math, and this was for that grade, fourth, fifth, and sixth grade. And he would come in every morning. He'd say, "Hello, children," which is not how anybody talked to my class. And so I got them to say, "Hello, Mr. Schulman." And so this would happen in every single class. And it reminded me of the Catholic school that I went to, and how when somebody walked in, you're supposed to stand up and say, hello, good morning, Mr. Schulman. So Dennis's birthday was coming up, and I said, do you guys want to do a surprise for him? And they said, okay. And I said, do you want to be like a Catholic school, like my Catholic school? And he'll walk in, he'll come in, he'll say, hello, children. You all stand up. You all turn. I'll at the same time turn and say, good morning, Mr. Schulman. And then you turn back around and you sit down. And you girls wear their hair in a ponytail, and boy, we're all going to wear white tops and blue bottoms. And and when you want to speak, you raise your hand, because they never raise their hand. And you raise your hand, you wait for him to call on you, then you stand up and you answer his question, and you sit down. And if he says something funny, which he always wants to do, you cover your mouth and you go, ha, ha, ha. And so then And they were so excited. And they all showed up that way. And he walked in and they all did it. And he was in shock and he couldn't. And he could really speak. He loves to talk and he loves to joke. But he was frozen. He didn't know what to do. And he'd say, "What's going on?" And they'd raise their hand and stand up and say, what do you mean, Mr. Schulman? And then they would sit down. And this just, it went on. And he was sort of kind of freaked out. And then he left. And then I asked him, I said, how was that? And he said, it was fun. And I go, do you want to stop now or do you want to keep going? And they said they wanted to keep going. So I got an experience teaching them like that, you know, because in our school, you constantly hear teachers saying, why don't they raise their hand? Or why don't they, you know, why don't they? And, but anyway, so I got an experience of a perfectly obedient class. And, you know, and so we did this thing. And I realized I was totally lost because I'd always play off their cues and they were giving me no cues. They were just following my lead. And I just thought, this is so much work to, yeah. Anyway,
Amazing.
So after a little bit, I said, I'm done. And they said, okay, yeah.
Wow. What an insight into different teaching styles, or what, you know, what really works. Like basically what you saw is that connection you had with them was helping you as a teacher. But that way, that the old school way of teaching, it's like you had no connection with them and nothing to really play off of.
Right. Yeah.
It's amazing.
The only thing I could possibly do is, you know, if I was really into that way of teaching, I could say, you need to go over there because you didn't raise your hand, or you need to, whatever. But that would be, I don't know. To me, it was rather dead. Even though the other way, when they're interacting with you and excited about whatever, you know, when they get excited, it's like, oh, all this noise, and you're, you know, it's just like, stop! I can't teach when you're all like that. But it's enthusiasm. But knowing how to work with that, your energy needs to be high. Otherwise, yeah.